every time I went to a competition, I learned 5 new things.
Yeah.
Like, why'd you do this? Why'd you do that? And I'm
Right.
like questioning all the bartenders and like asking like, how'd you double stir? And then I'd go home and double stir for 3 days straight, like not stop.
Well, welcome everybody to another episode of Vibing, where we celebrate, support, and explore local businesses, local restaurants, breweries, etc. I'm here with Mike from the Guadalupe on Main. Really excited to be here with you and talk a little bit about your story, the story of this beautiful restaurant. And you guys won the Sunday dinner at the Deuce in April for the mole competition. Your chef won with his super traditional and super delicious mole. So we'll talk a little bit about that, but thanks for coming on, man.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Tell me a little bit about, just introduce yourself and you know, kind of your story and how you ended up owning a restaurant in Mesa.
All right. Well, my name's Dirty Mike. I've been bartending for about 10 years. My whole life I wanted to just be a bartender for some reason. And when I was a kid even, I would draw like pictures of a pizza restaurant and my house right above it. That's just what I wanted to do from forever. And you know, one day I got a job at Mill when I got here to Arizona 10 years ago. And I started off checking IDs and you know, I worked at Mill Q Club.
Yeah.
I worked there for like 6 years actually.
Those Long Island iced teas there. I got stories about those.
Still to this day, I use their recipe for a Long Island.
Yeah.
Even if I'm making it here. I don't pick up 4 bottles maybe anymore.
Yeah.
Like that. But I still use the same measurements and the same technique. So, but anyway, started checking IDs, worked up to bar back. I remember they had a competition. They're like, whoever collects the most IDs, fake IDs, would be moved up to bar back. So I literally was trying to take so many fucking IDs. I would take IDs just like, even if it might have been you, I'm like, nope, I think this isn't you. Just to like try to get the ID.
You broke a lot of hearts.
A lot of people hated me for that month. But guess what? I got the most IDs and I became the bar back. So then I started bar back and I did that for about a year. And then they were like, hey, we're gonna move you up to bartender. And I was so nervous then, but that was like everything I wanted. I studied like all the different Long Islands from AMF to Tokyo Tea to all the different ones. I can't even remember, but I can still make every one of them if you were to call for it.
Yeah.
And then my buddy Chuck, he was my like best friend in the bar industry. He worked at the bar right next to me. He got me a job at a craft cocktail bar, and I just started really being creative. I was like, I didn't realize that how easy it was to like make art. Every 10 minutes someone would want something new from me, and I would be like on the spot to create art, and I thought that was the coolest thing ever. So one day Chuck had the idea to build a bar at my house in Tempe. So we literally we had this like laundry room with this little like studio on the side of it, and we built a bar in my backyard. It was called Home Bar. I still have the sign up there at the bar.
Yeah.
And it was a speakeasy. It was a legit speakeasy. It even was illegal. I found out. Because I contacted a lawyer one day and I was like, hey, this is what we're doing. We're not taking it's all tips. Anyone gives us any money, it's all tips. We aren't making a single dollar. We aren't charging all this. And he's like, yes, it would still be considered illegal because it'd be tax evasion. They would see us as this is our profession, this is what we know how to do, and we're not paying taxes on the tips. Right. And I was like, and he's like, and then even if it wasn't, like let's say I won in court over a year's worth of time, I would have spent so much money on lawyer fees and everything that I should have just never done it in the first place, or I would just plead guilty. So he's like, they'll have you by the balls if they want you.
Yeah.
So we're like, okay, we can't do that anymore. So we stopped doing that. So then we basically just kept it in my backyard as like a novelty. We ended up getting a job in Mesa at 12 West.
Yeah.
And that was like our dream. Like we were like, oh my God, we're gonna actually run our own freaking place. Like we were just so excited to like it be ours. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think we did an excellent job. We took so much pride in it because we were like, this is gonna be ours, like we're a part of it. We took so much pride in it, like we really focused on customers and like guest experience more than anything. And I think that's what gave us our, I guess you could say, like credibility in Mesa, for them to really believe in, we were not just here for money, we were here to like create a good time. You know?
I mean, everyone knows your name in downtown Mesa.
But we tried hard in downtown Mesa, and we didn't try to like hurt anyone. We tried to make sure that every business ate with us. Like that's what I loved about downtown Mesa, is it taught me it wasn't a competition, it's a team, you know, and like you don't see that anymore. It's with most restaurants, Applebee's, the team is the hedge fund that runs it, or Chili's, it's like those CEOs that never even come to the restaurant are the ones that run the team. Like having that little small team of business owners that, like to this day, so many business owners eat in our restaurant all week long, you know, like from downtown Mesa, and they support us. And then on our days off, we support them. Like that's how we live down here. And I think that's the best part about Mesa. I forgot what our original question was, is how we got into.
You're doing great.
Okay.
You're doing great. No, I mean, downtown Mesa for me is one of my favorite areas because of exactly that. It really feels like a community. You know, when I launched Exceptional Vibe, one of the first events that we did was the Flavors on Main event, which is kind of a food and beverage crawl in downtown Mesa, and everybody came together and everybody had a really good time. I only wish Guadalupe was 2 miles west so that we could have had you be a part of that, but we'll figure out a way to do that. But I mean, downtown Mesa is a community, and you know, when Trent and Eric, the owners of Chupacabra, get off work, they go over to Oro and have a beer. They pop over to Pedal House and have a beer.
Cider Core, all of it.
Yeah, so that's, to me, that's one of my favorite things about downtown Mesa, and it's a model that I wish more of those smaller downtowns like Gilbert and Chandler and stuff kind of replicated a little bit. I think Chandler is doing well, but yeah, I mean, there's no community like downtown Mesa.
Yeah, I agree.
That's really cool, man. So then how did you end up in here?
So this was actually a blessing. My girlfriend, or my partner, my life partner, I should say. I got to stop calling her my girlfriend. She doesn't like that. And business partner. We're co-owner in this. She doesn't get enough credit, and she's really the reason we're sitting in here having this interview in the first place. Her ex-husband, his father owns this building. And the previous restaurant that was here, Casa Ramos. And my girlfriend and her ex-husband, they got divorced, but they stayed on good terms, and they realized that there was a way bigger purpose in this restaurant than just money or, you know, marriage or anything like that. And when I met her, she was actually rebuilding this restaurant from the ground up because it burned down in a fire in 2020. And by the time I met her, she was going through the initial building phases. By the time it was done, it was 2023. And she did all the design work. She sat with the architects. She did figured out how they wanted the roof, the ceiling, all the bar layout, everything like that, long before I even came in the picture. About a year and a half later, after it was built and it was running under the previous restaurant, Casa Ramos, the father, the owner, our landlord, his name's Ben, he wanted to retire, and he said, how am I going to retire? Nobody will touch this building, it's too expensive, and he has a giant mortgage on it. So to be able to keep it, he had to keep working, and he was like really tired of the stress and all that for running a restaurant. So he offered it to Alicia, and he said, hey, do you guys, her ex-husband said, hey, I'm done too. He's like, I want to focus on a different career path. I want to do tattoos, and I want to get out of the restaurant industry that he got thrown into as a child, pretty much, to help his parents. He said, I know Mike and you have been looking for restaurants. We were looking at restaurants in downtown Mesa. I must have wrote 5 different business plans for buildings in downtown Mesa that we just didn't end up getting, or loans didn't get approved. And they said, we know you guys want it. Will you take it for us? Like, he was basically pleading, like, we're done, just do this for us. And instead of giving it to like a person that wouldn't carry on the traditions of the food and wouldn't, you know, someone that would have just came in and done it all themselves, he didn't see the actual value in the actual amazing, you've had the food that's here.
Yeah.
So when we found that out, we're like, well, that's a very easy selling point, like, because that's not my specialty. My specialty is the bar, and I can run that like the back of my hand, but the kitchen is very delicate and not my thing. So knowing that they were gonna take on that role and teach our people and make keep us successful was like, well, we got to take this chance.
Yeah.
So that's how we ended up here, really.
That's awesome.
Alicia and Kenny deciding that it was bigger than their divorce, and to really keep the restaurant alive and work for what it's worth, you know.
Yeah. So. And chef Jomani.
Yes, Jomani
is
Kenny's younger brother. Yes. So it's a big
really
family
truly
business.
is in the family still. Yeah.
It really is. So and really Jomani came along halfway through. The people we initially brought in, they just didn't make it, and it's happened to me a lot. That's probably been the hardest part about the restaurant is the friends that I've lost.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just business is business, and I hate that saying. I used to be like, I hate that saying.
Yeah.
But I truly understand it now, and it hurts, you know. That's why they say don't go into business with friends. It's really true.
Yeah.
But
well, you seem like you're doing a good job so far.
Thank you.
I mean, like you said, the food here is sensational. I brought my family here recently, and they all loved it. So I'm curious kind of about your, like, how you got into cocktails and how you got, you know, you started bartending at Q Club, and then you got into more craft cocktails, and like, what was that learning experience like? Like, how did you go about learning how to build a cocktail and how to make it, like you said, a piece of art, and like the techniques, the palette, like how if someone was to want to get into that, like how would you coach them through that? So
the short answer is the book, The Cocktail Codex. I'll go get it so you can see it. You want me to go get it right now? Okay. All right. I must have given this book away to probably a dozen different training bartenders. You look at my Amazon, I've probably bought that book like 7 different times. But the short answer is that if you got no one to train you, I recommend reading that book, especially if you already have bartending knowledge. Like if you work in a bar and they made cocktails, even if it was Long Island's and Jack and Cokes, and you have knowledge, you should be able to understand this book.
Okay.
But the long answer is I was really, really interested in it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that book came because I was like, how do I know more? How can I know more? I need to know more. I would go home and, like a jigger and a bottle and stuff, and I would practice and practice with just water in my sink. And
just like pour times and...
Oh my God. Just like, till I had to massage my muscle, and I would never stop practicing. I took it way too serious, and I wanted to be like, I don't even say I wanted to be the best. I wanted to just know how to impress people. Yeah. You know what I mean? Sure. It's like magic trick to me in the weird way. Like I can create this cocktail, bam, fucking you're a customer for life. Yeah. Like, that was cool to me to see. Like the competitions actually taught me a ton. Every time I went to a competition, I learned 5 new things. Yeah. Like, why'd you do this? Why'd you do that? And I'm like questioning all the bartenders and like asking like, how'd you double stir? And then I'd go home and double stir for 3 days straight, like not stop.
I love that, man.
I just wanted to be good at it.
Well, how did you, or tell me about your first competition.
Oh, man, what was it? It was at Bitters Bar, which is no longer a bar anymore, but that's the bar Chuck got me in. Chuck was like in the USBG, so he was like putting on all these, he was trying to show off and be cool in the industry, which he was. This man is still like a legend in the industry. But he was trying to bring all these competitions to us, so he was just throwing me in competitions. And I think the first one was for Patron, and it was like a tiki competition.
Okay.
And I ended up losing, and I had the fucking ball in this drink, bro. It was so cool. I fucking took a pineapple, cut the top off, put a cinnamon stick in it, smoked the shit out of the cinnamon stick, put the glass on top, and the cinnamon stick just smoked into the glass. And in front of all the judges, they're just like the 3 pineapples I did it to. Ding, ding, ding,
Yeah.
right? Then I go and I make all 3 drinks, because you have to, it had a whole egg in it. It was a flip cocktail, so an entire egg, so you have to really shake it good, and you can't be making 2 of those cocktails in the same shaker. So I had to make 3 at the same time. So I'm like shaking the shit out of all 3 of these cocktails and everything, end up pouring it. And the way I make cocktails, I know that it's perfectly to the top. You know what I mean? Like when I pour it out of my shaker and there's ice in there, like hits the top. It was about this much short, each one.
Oh no.
And I'm like, what did happen? What's wrong? Like, why is it short? And I'm just like, I taste it, and I forgot to put sugar in. You could just taste no sweetness, just like the tartness and the rum and all that, and the tequila. And I was like, no. But it was like 30 seconds left. So I just garnished it up and served it off anyways. And remember losing that competition and everyone being like, what the fuck, dude, you should have won that competition. Like, your drink was so good.
Yeah.
So, but that was the first competition I ever did, and I learned to, like, okay, make sure I got my stuff and organized a little better for the next one.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Do you find that you're, because something that I've noticed is that a lot of times when people become really successful bartenders and they launch their own programs, they start doing a lot of mentoring and a lot of training and kind of bringing people up to speed, new bartenders and things like that. Is that something you guys focus on here?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we actually, our last 3 bartenders that we have were all servers from the building. So we trained them up. Now they're bartending, baking their own tips, doing all their own thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, the goal is to always promote within.
Yeah.
I even tell people when they ask, how do I become a bartender like you? I'm like, go find a bar that you like, get a job at the bottom, and work your way up.
Yeah.
Because then you're gonna learn everything that comes with it.
Right.
And if you gotta go back, you already know what you're doing.
Yeah.
You can't tell someone to do something that you don't know how to do.
Yeah.
So I think that's the best advice for anyone that wants to be into the service industry, even if it is bartending. Picture you're going to bartend in 5 years. You got to put in 5 years of college or whatever to get to there, is my outlook. And if you do it in less and you happen to climb up the ladder, fuck yeah, good for you.
Yeah.
You did it. So
yeah. No, that's awesome. I mean, the community here, I think, in Phoenix as a whole, the bartending community, I think, has been garnering a lot of attention nationally, right? Like, I know, like, the Barter and Shake people have won a lot of national awards, and it's just drawing more and more attention to our cocktail scene, our mixology scene here in Phoenix, and it's like, it's cool to hear your story and other people that have gotten to where you're at, and then it's even better to hear that you're part of sort of bringing on the next generation of bartenders and encouraging their creativity and giving them a space to let them try new things. I mean, you guys do a kind of dealer's choice drink on your menu, right? Where somebody can I know I ordered that last time I was here, and my brother ended up ordering it too because he liked it so much.
That's right.
So yeah, man, that's really cool.
The cigar box one, yeah.
Yeah, the cigar box one, and all that, like, theatrical presentation of a cocktail, to me, I love that stuff.
I'm sure,
like, and for me, it's like you said earlier, it's about creating an experience for the guest. You can go to any bar and just have a drink placed in front of you, but when the server brought out the box and it's like, what is this? And my whole family was like, what is going on? And then you open it and the smoke and the whole experience, it's just like, man, it feels cool.
That's good. I'm glad.
So
that's what I'm going for.
We're in a very similar business in that I do that with my events. You do that every day here in your restaurant. But ultimately, like, we're all trying to just create really cool experiences.
Yes.
And I mean, you guys are crushing it. What do you see as sort of? I mean, do you see as there being another step in the Guad story, or are you guys just kind of focusing on honing in the menu? Like, where are you guys at right now?
So, I think as a team, we're trying to pay off the loan.
Sure.
I think that's everyone's goal, even our servers and everyone. Like, they understand we're in that precious like moment where you have to work a little hard right now so that we can all be better later.
Yeah.
Thankfully, because of the amazing deal that Kenny and his family gave us, because of Alicia's connections and all the hard work she's put in, our loans are much more minimal than a typical restaurant owner. So I think we'll be there sooner than later. I know we'll be there sooner than later. It's still a challenge, and it's still tough to figure out food costs and labor and all that type of stuff, and rent. Like, that stuff is not easy to figure out. But I think the next step, so we're trying to go one step at a time, right?
Totally.
So people always say, open a restaurant in Santan Valley, open a restaurant in Peoria, Wauwatoki or whatever, why not closer? And I'm like, man, this is so much work. Like, my knees hurt, Like, I can only imagine trying to do this for 2 restaurants.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand. And I love how good our quality and our service and our hospitality and all that is. Yeah. I don't want this to fail on that. I don't know, 100%. I don't know yet.
I think the smart way to go about it, and I think this sounds like it's what you're doing, is that one step at a time, let it grow more organically, like get to the point where, you're in a position where like you see that as an opportunity that makes sense and not as like a opportunity that you kind of have to force, right? And I think when any business grows in that sort of organic way, you're able to like maintain and preserve the soul of the company, right? Like the culture and what makes it the Guadalupe on Main, right? Like, and if you, when a business kind of like, oh, we're doing well, we're seeing a little success, let's open another restaurant, or let's open another tap room, or let's open another bar, and they're not really ready for it, they start, I think, cutting things to make it work.
I agree.
And then that soul kind of gets lost, and like, based on the whole story, this place is full of soul, right?
True.
Like, the way that you're running it, the family, the fact that Jomeni is involved, and the whole cohesive team that you built here. I think you're doing it right.
Thank you.
Because you don't want to force that and then lose that.
Yeah.
No,
I agree.
That's really cool, especially when it's one of those things where one of your star bartenders is able to then take over the bar program at the new bar.
Yeah.
Or at the new spot, and maybe Jomeni has a sous chef that is killing it and is like ready to take that step, and then you can keep promoting from within instead of having to like bring on new people that you have to then trust your brand with. That if you're here, you don't know what's going on over there.
Very true.
So I think you're nailing it.
Thank you.
You're doing an awesome job, man. Well, I wanted to share with you. I brought a little flask of Outlaw Distilleries, which are good friends of mine. It's their honey bourbon. So they produced the bourbon at their story is that Outlaw Distillery started in Utah, still producing bourbon and rum and stuff in Utah. And then the owner bought Adventurous Stills here in Tempe and then moved to Mesa, and basically is moving the headquarters of the company to Tempe, but is still producing bourbon up there because Utah's a great place to make whiskey. The water's really good. The farms produce a lot of really great grains. So the bourbon's made up there, but then they use Arizona honey to create this really tasty honey bourbon. And I'm just wanted to see kind of what your thoughts are.
So would you say this is like competing with Jack Honey if you had to give it like?
I'll let you try it and then you tell me what you think, because I do think that the kind of grained glass sort of ethos that he fits into, the fact that he makes it himself and adds the honey himself, sweetens it to his taste.
It's fucking amazing.
It's good.
Yeah. I'm like, I still get a lot of bourbon through it. It's not too sweet. That's what I was so worried about. It was going to be too sweet.
Yeah.
What's the proof on it?
I want to say it's like 86.
It's fucking good.
I didn't bring the bottle.
I could see how you say just little bitters, old fashioned. Already
Just got
sweet.
enough sweetness for just a little bit of bitters to make it.
I would put Angostura, that's
Yeah.
the original bitters, and an orange spritz
Okay.
over the top. And then you have
Get
an
the
old
oils
fashioned.
on the top and everything.
We could try it.
Yeah, I mean, I still have a little bit in there.
Yeah, we could do that.
Or we
I
could
bet
just-
you that's already a done old fashioned, or we could just drink it. Well, since you brought some bourbon, I figured I had to bring mine.
Okay.
This is Montenegro. Have you had it?
I don't think so. I mean, I've had
Maybe
Amaro
you had it
before.
with your family.
What's that?
You might have had it with your family when I was here. Did I
Okay.
bring you guys a shot?
I don't think so.
Oh, no? Okay, because this is like my thing.
Okay.
If you know me, you pretty much know
Yeah.
I love Montenegro.
All right.
So yeah, that's mine's much nicer. Not that this isn't nice. Mine's much more easy to
Okay.
take a swig of. And we don't have to do them back to back if you don't want.
I'm just glad you didn't pour me like a shot of like Malort or
that's not
something.
me. I'm from Chicago and I don't
Are
like
you?
Malort, yeah.
That stuff is pretty awful.
Actually though, I don't know, my like palate changed or what though, but someone bought me a shot of Malort the other day just to be an asshole. I don't know who it was. I took it and didn't think it was that bad. And usually I'm like crying on the floor.
Are you shooting this? Is that how you
Sure,
drink it?
That's how I do it. I shoot it, or I have my signature margarita. I call it the Italian margarita, and I just make a margarita. And instead of Grand Marnier, I float Montenegro on top.
It's beautiful. That's really yummy.
Yeah, right. Really smooth.
I've never had it before, and it's
This is really good though.
isn't it?
Yeah.
It's special. I think it's
Does the honey separate, like in the bottle?
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah. You'll see kind of the proteins floating in
Okay.
it, so you give it a good shake. Before
Just
you pour
wondering.
it.
Just wondering. Well, bring
Yeah,
them in.
man. I will for sure. And I mean, it was definitely not meant for like any sort of sales pitch or anything, but it's just one of those things that one of the things I want to do with this show, podcast, whatever you call it, is bring something for somebody for the guest to try as well.
Cool.
Whether that's a beer or a particular spirit that I'm enjoying. So what's your like favorite drink to drink?
To drink?
Yeah.
It's probably the Italian margarita I was talking about. Seems to be. Or just like a cold ass Mexican beer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just a beer, like,
Your beer guy.
I'm easy. Yeah, I make the drinks. I'm not really one to like indulge in the drinks. I got diabetes anyways.
Okay.
So agave nectar just seems to process better in my body than simple syrup or fruit purees or anything like that. So to me, it's just like margarita's easy, clean. I know my body like it doesn't really get affected by it, and keep going. And Monty's just so Monty. I guess I should tell you about Monty since you don't know.
Yeah,
And
please.
since I think you'd be a great person to be a Monty sponsor, because it's basically considered the bartender's handshake.
Okay.
So if you're a bartender and I'm a bartender, and like let's say we're out at a bar and we realize this shit, we're like, oh, you're a fucking good bartender? Oh, let's take a shot of Monty. Boom, we're family. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or let's say you're a customer and you tip well, and you come in and support us once a week. Boom, have a Monty. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or you want, like, let's say you look the tip and there's 100 in there. Shit, come on, let's have a Monty. And what we also like about Monty is that it's 23% alcohol.
Okay.
So if I'm gonna give someone a shot on their way out the door, I'd rather it be this lighter alcohol than tequila or bourbon or whatever else it might be.
Put this here for people to see.
Yeah, I love it.
Like a little display that we're building out there.
Pretty
That's
much
awesome.
any bartender you give that to,
Yeah?
they'll be like, thank you.
Okay.
It's like a thank you.
I love that. The bartender's handshake.
Yeah.
What you kind of mentioned this earlier, but I'm curious, kind of from your perspective. Since you started at Q Club till now, how have you seen, or how would you describe the sort of the way that the cocktail culture in Phoenix has grown and developed over the last, call it 10 years?
Okay.
From your perspective.
So I hope that you get to interview Jason Asher.
Oh, yeah.
One day. Yeah, I hope he's on your list.
Yeah.
Good, because he's really the reason I think cocktails took off so amazing in Arizona. I don't even know him well at all. I've met him. He's been a judge at a few competitions of mine, and I've seen him around. I'm sure he knows the name Dirty Mike, but we're not like friends or anything like that. But he still encouraged me to want to get good at this, and I remember going to Century Grand in Undertow for the first time, like
Yeah.
when it was in SIP and all that, and I was just like, I'm blown away.
Yeah.
This shit is so cool. Like, this is what I want to do.
Too.
Yeah. To this day, his restaurants, well, still, those restaurants that he put together are the best in the valley. Like you were saying, Butter and Shake's getting recognized nationally.
Century Grand won Best Cocktail in the U.S. like 2 years in a row or something like that.
I remember, yeah.
And
And now his bartenders that he's raised, Jax, I hope you get to interview him. He's an amazing He's probably the best hospitality person in the whole state.
Yeah.
Like, and Jason Asher trained him.
Yeah.
So, like...
Yeah. I mean,
saying.
you bring, and that's a great point. I've talked to a lot of bartenders from a lot of different bars, especially in my previous role at Phoenix Magazine. And it's incredible how many careers, like how many of these bartenders started when you ask them their story. They're like, oh, well, I started at Century Grand.
Amazing.
And learned everything there, and then now I'm, running the bar program at the Womack, or I'm running the bar program at First and Last, or whatever it is. Like, there's all these different stories now. Brendan Michael. Do you know Brendan? He owns Killer Whale Sex Club.
Brendan, yeah.
I'm actually interviewing him, I think next week.
Amazing.
But yeah, I met him when he was bartender at Undertow, under SIP.
Yeah,
it was actually my first cocktail experience.
Was Brendan? All right.
Well, yeah, because I wasn't a cocktail guy, I was a beer guy. And my wife wanted to go to Undertow. We used to live right down the street from it. And she had been, I hadn't been. We went, and we sat at the bar, and Brendan was our bartender, and he's like, so what can I get you? And I was like, I gotta be honest, man, I don't even know. I don't know what any of this stuff is. I'm a beer drinker. And he's like, well, what kind of beer do you like? So we started talking about beer. He's like, let me just make you something. And he just made me a cocktail, and I tried it. I was like, oh my God, this is so good. And so then we got to talking, and it was kind of a slow night, if I remember correctly. So we got to spend a lot of time with him, like just chatting about cocktails and stuff. And then based on how I liked the first one, he was able to recommend a second one. I think I had three that night, and I was just blown away by the whole experience and by the flavors and everything like that. And so we stayed in touch. We exchanged numbers. We stayed in touch. And so then when he opened Killer Whale Sex Club and Pretty Penny, like, it was just one of those things where, it was exciting to see him move into that role.
I bet, yeah.
So that's super cool.
It was for me too, seeing him and his business partner, Sam, move into Sex Club. I was like, telling Chuck, I was like, that's what I want to do, bro.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I want to do. I want to own our own bar, Chuck. We're better than this. Why don't we do this? And it was just like, we're trying, man. We're trying. It's always the hardest part is loans and investors and all that stuff. Your typical bartender can't get a loan for $1 million.
Yeah.
It takes something special or to be born into that, to be able to figure that out. We can't do that. So that even my situation, like, our loans were so tough to get. Yeah. Holy smokes. Like, paperwork on, not fun. And we figured it out. We got it figured out, but and it was pennies compared to your typical loan. When I tell business people or businessmen about just in downtown Mesa, my friends, like, what I ended up taking for a loan compared to what they needed to open their restaurant, they're like, dude, you're $1 million ahead of me. Like, it's a huge difference in that whole thing. And that's why I think seeing Sam and Brendan do it was like, yes, like, you're breaking off into something else. You're doing what we all want to do. And now I'm here, right, doing what we all want to do, and I'm looking back like, man, it was pretty nice just being a bartender, man. Like, I'm like, dude, it was fun going to work 5 hours, making $500, and then not even thinking about it. You know what I mean? Like, that was the shit. I
mean, I'm learning that too, running Exceptional Vibe, just like the business side, the things that I never thought about. Like insurance and like just stuff that I'm like, I'm going to put events on. Like, there's 3 more layers that you got to get through. And so especially when you start as a security guy and you make your way to bar back and bartender, and now you're a business owner and you're running not just a bar but like a restaurant, and there's so many more layers to that as well. Like, it's a cool journey to see, and I love the fact that that world is small enough to where a lot of these people know each other. Brendan, Jason, all these guys, and everybody supports each other. Obviously, I'm sure there's personal dramas in there somewhere.
I got haters.
But to me, from kind of an outside perspective, it definitely feels like a very supportive community. Like people get
Definitely.
excited when they see others succeed, and that's to me that's what it's all about.
No, it definitely is for the most part, and just like anything in the world, for every good person, there's a bad person.
Sure.
You know, there's going to be people that are just not on your side.
Yeah.
And I think I'm even subject of being jealous. Like jealous is a normal human freaking thing. Like I've seen Sam and Brendan. I can't tell you I wasn't jealous. I wasn't like, damn, I want that. Dude, that's what I want. You know, like thank God I kept saying that because I helped manifest the whole thing. A lot of people too, they don't follow through. Even me, I didn't follow through until I met my girlfriend. She was the one to be like, well, you gonna do something or are you gonna just talk about wanting to open a bar? Because there's a lot more than just talking about it than actually doing it. And then we're still finding that out. Dude, I got a bill the other day for $3,500. We're like, how the fuck did this come in? Like some text that we don't even know. I'm like worried that it's a scam. I don't even know, man. So every time we turn around, just like, we need this money from you. We need this money from you. So we're still learning all that. And I'll never stop learning. And that's why I think we'll be okay, because if we have to adapt, I'll learn and I'll adapt and I'll make it work. So I hope.
That's awesome, man. All right, so I want to do my rapid fire questions.
Okay, go ahead.
You can elaborate if you want. There's no rules here.
Okay.
And if some of them are too nerdy for, I'm kind of a geeky guy, so we'll start easy. And I'm guessing I know the answer to this question, but what's your favorite food, cuisine, go-to, like, munchies?
Everyone's gonna hate me for this, but I think it's Subway.
Really?
Yeah, I can make it exactly how I want it, you know, put some extra lettuce, like whatever, I don't know.
Okay.
I think it's weird, my girlfriend hates it, but for some reason, I like it.
Judging that you own a Mexican restaurant, I think I know the answer to this question, but you also love an Italian Amaro, so Mexican food or Italian food?
Ooh, okay.
And you have an Italian margarita, so it's like,
I know. Well,
this is a real tough question.
My grandmother is from Italy, so she cooked we went over there every Sunday growing up to eat dinner, and we ate Italian food. So like, I have that special kind of thing in my heart too. But I think I actually, if I got to choose, I'm going Mexican food, as long as it's good. It's
Jimeni's making it.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, that's good Mexican. You know what I mean? And for some reason, it's so difficult to find. In Chicago, there's good Mexican restaurants every corner. Out here, I'm like, why is everything?
It's different. I mean, so I was born in Mexico City, and so I grew up eating very traditional, but not like northern Mexican food. I grew up eating like central Mexican food, which is, Mexico's a huge country, so it's got all these different cuisines, just like the U.S. does. And here, it's very that, like, kind of Tex-Mex, northern Mexico like cuisine, which is like a lot more of those refried beans and a lot more cheese, and like it's heavier on the gut than something like the mole enchiladas that Jimeni makes. And so I mean, it's still good, but it is different. And so I mean.
Another thing too is I think a lot of Mexican restaurants have to cut corners for profits and margins and rents and all that. And one thing that we did right away, and even the previous owners were like telling to be worrisome about it, was charging for chips and salsa. How often do you go to a Mexican restaurant and it's expected to get free chips and salsa? Now, if you knew the labor that went into our chips and salsa, you would be blown away. About how much work it actually is, and the cost, and our chips, cutting tortillas, throwing them in the fryer.
You guys make them all in-house?
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Expensive, you know what I mean? So things like that is where I think why Mexican restaurants in Arizona cut a little bit more corners is because they have to give away, they're expected to give away this and give away that.
Well, and I think also people are used to Mexican food being like really accessible and affordable, like the Macayos and the Filibertos, and like that's kind of what they're used to, is just like, that's like the cheap, and
they're taught that Mexican food is cheap.
Right. That's what I'm saying, is like, and that's what they're used to. And so like when you go to a more fine dining approach to Mexican food, people tend to be a little like, what? That's why I was so excited to do the mole dinner, because it was like, hey, like, this is a decadent.
Takes skill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, 40 plus ingredients, and that stuff is complicated. So
true.
Beer, wine, or spirits? Just on a day-to-day.
Probably spirits.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tequila.
Tequila
is my favorite.
So I asked this earlier, but like your go-to drink, if you're just gonna like whip one up on your own, is your Italian margarita?
It's Italian margarita, yeah. Italian margarita.
Sweet or savory?
Savory for food, right?
Yeah.
Okay, savory definitely.
Okay. And what's favorite vacation you've ever been on?
Favorite vacation? I don't even know.
You're a business owner. You probably don't go on that many vacations.
Man, my whole life is a vacation.
I love that.
My favorite vacation is probably, I just like going to Hawaii.
Okay.
I think Hawaii is amazing.
Yeah.
I would open a bar in Hawaii.
Yeah.
If I could.
Yeah.
That would be a goal.
That's awesome.
So,
maybe there'll be a Guadalupe
in Hawaii
someday.
Yeah, maybe.
Rain or sunshine?
Sunshine all day.
Yeah,
yes.
It's amazing how many people in Arizona would say rain, which is weird. Favorite book? I'm assuming it's this one.
No, favorite book, let's think. The Aviary.
Okay.
It's a restaurant in Chicago.
Okay.
They put out a book with like all their cocktails in high definition.
Yeah.
And I'd say that's my favorite book.
That's awesome.
I got it over there. You want to see it?
Yeah, we'll take a look at it for sure. Camping or resort?
Oh, resort. It used to be camping.
Yeah.
Knees hurt too much to go camping. Resort all day.
Beach or forest? You said Hawaii, so I'm going to guess it's beach.
Lately it's beach, but back in the day it might have been forest because I was into the camping and like woods and all that.
All right, here's where it gets nerdy. Jedi or Sith?
Jedi, because I believe I'm a good person.
I love that. Sam or Frodo?
I have no clue who that is.
Lord of the Rings.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
I don't know. All right, superhero you most identify with?
Superhero, probably Deadpool.
Okay.
Because like he's funny and he's kind of like tells you how it is.
Yeah.
I think.
I love that. It's a good answer. Spirit animal?
I would say a Pomeranian. I swear to God. I'm like,
okay.
You
gotta explain why.
You could ask my girl if I'm sick or whatever. I'm just like this, like dead. I don't know. I'm just a Pomeranian in the. I love Pomeranians.
That's incredible.
My mom always had Pomeranians when we were growing up. So, and she still to this day has one. And I don't know. The Pomeranian was always my dog. You know, like it stuck to me. Like
that's so funny. Is he like a big guy with a beard? Like it's just like someone was like, whoa.
If we could pick, like we have pit bulls, me and my girl. But if I could pick, I would pick a Pomeranian. So
I love that so much. Your go-to coffee shop order?
4 shots espresso on ice.
There you go. Just mainline
no cream.
Yeah. Go-to karaoke song?
Colt 45 by Afro.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that one.
I love that. The weirdest food you've ever tried?
The weirdest food I've ever tried? I think it'd be like snails.
Like escargot.
Escargot or
so
like
weird.
A tongue. Have you tried tongue?
I haven't.
I don't like it. I don't know if I like it. I think I do like it, but I don't want to like it. You know.
I've tried escargot, and it's awful. I'm such a texture. For me, like texture is almost more important.
That's me too.
Like I love breakfast burritos, but if it's just mush, I don't like it.
Okay,
you know what I mean? I want like a crunch in there. Like
You'd like ours.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So like the escargot is just chewy and I don't like oysters
because it's no oysters for me.
It's like boogers, like some all textures for me. So
that's texture for sure. I am not with that.
Yeah. You may have answered this question earlier. Guilty pleasure food item. I'm gonna say it's Subway, probably.
Oh yeah, that's what I was. Oh, so when you asked the first question, I see.
You went guilty pleasure.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Your favorite ice cream flavor?
Cookie dough, probably.
Cookie dough?
Yeah, boring.
And your favorite TV show?
Favorite TV show?
Or the one you've like binge watched the most?
Probably Cheers
Okay.
Yeah, Cheers probably.
Love that.
I got a picture of Cheers right up there.
Okay.
You can see, but hanging above the bar.
I mean, it makes sense, right? Like the way that you try to build and have built community.
Yeah, it's
kind
like
of
that.
reflected.
When I first started getting into cocktails, like part of the learning thing you're talking about, I actually tried to watch every episode of Cheers.
Yeah.
I just put on season 1 and just watched it. When I got home from work, watched 3 episodes, fall asleep to watch it, and just tried to like study it. I took it way too serious to become a bartender.
I love that, man. I love that. I mean, but that's how you like absorb things, and I mean that's how you learn, right? Is like
I agree.
People who don't dive into something that they want to learn fully are never going to learn it all the way. So whether that's a passion for a TV show that you just want to watch all of it, or whether it's practicing double stirring for 3 days straight because you want to learn how to do it. I mean, it sounds like that's been a bit of a through line for you in your story.
That's what I've learned, is that anything I put my mind to, I will do a good job.
Yeah.
I've been hours deep into like projects and been like, oh, I see. If I want this to work, I got to put another 500 hours into it. I'm too lazy. You know what I mean? Like I see this.
Yeah.
It will work, but it's gonna take this extra work. Do I really want to do that? Nah, I'm good bartending. You know what I mean? And like I've done my own. I've realized my own stay. Like I get it. Like I can make this work. I watched this YouTube video. It got me into like wanting to make T-shirts, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, I'm gonna do this, and I'm like, oh, okay. 40 hours ain't gonna get it done, but 900 hours will. Like that makes sense. That makes sense. So.
Well, the last thing, if you want to look at the camera and tell people about the restaurant, come to visit you. What are your hours? Like, give them your sales pitch. Do you watch Hot Ones on YouTube?
Ones?
You ever seen Hot Ones where they try the hot sauces?
Yeah.
So it's like one of those like, here's the camera. Tell people what you got going on in your life.
So basically, we're 9 months and 17 days old today, I think. And
who's counting?
Right? Definitely me.
Yeah.
People come in and test me on it. They'll be like, oh, how many days are you today? I'm like, oh, man. We're actually really hitting the gluten-free community very hard. They're really, really appreciative of us. And a lot of our new clientele is gluten-free.
That's awesome.
And we would have never knew. I think if I can give anyone any advice, it's learn how to be a little bit more gluten-free, because I see the need for it, and I see that it's a medical issue at this point that is not taken serious.
Sure.
And if you know anyone that's gluten-free, bring them in here. I bet you they already know about us, because that community is really tight. Also, if you haven't tasted our food, our chef and his techniques and processes and what makes these recipes amazing come from his grandmother, who's Guadalupe. That's why we got the name. So I think if you come and you try the whole team experience, from like just the servers to the bar and the cocktails to the food, you're gonna be forced to come back.
I love that. I love that. Well, they're closed Monday, Tuesdays, but otherwise you're open for lunch and dinner, I'm assuming?
Yeah, we're open 11 to 10.
Incredible.
Pretty much.
So come check them out, and thanks again for being a part of this.
Yeah,
man.
thanks, Johann.
Yeah, cheers.
Cheers.
I don't have any more. Here we go. Here we'll do a little.
We got more Monty right there.
Little splash of that, just because it's there and open. Cheers.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.